Hey, tourpreneurs, it's Mitch Bach, and just a quick note before we begin today's episode. Tourpreneur is currently sponsored by Google. We're thankful for their support of our community, and we are offering with them a completely free course helping you unlock the power and potential of Google's Things to Do program, which is specifically helping tour operators add their tours to Google in new ways that gives you new exposure and more direct bookings. To learn more, go to tourpreneur.com/Google. And as always, show notes, more resources, links to our newsletter, our business coaching community, and so much more are available on tourpreneur.com. Now to the episode.
Today's episode is brought to you by Checkfront, the booking platform trusted by over 5,000 tour and activity operators around the world. You can start your own free 21-day trial over at checkfront.com.
Welcome to the Tourpreneur Podcast. Travel industry veteran Shane Whaley will take you on a journey with fellow tourpreneurs, sharing their tips, ideas, insights, and success stories to inspire you to make your tour business the best it can be. And now, here is your host, Shane Whaley.
Hello and welcome to episode 91 of the Tourpreneur Podcast. Thank you for joining us for another installment of What I Learned This Week. And this is actually going to be what I learned this month because, as you all know, I've been releasing tour operator COVID-19 check-ins. That's where I call tour operators around the world. It's supposed to be a 10-minute check-in, but let's be honest. Have you ever met a tour operator that doesn't like to talk? So they're going at 20 minutes. But I know you're all enjoying that because they're engrossing conversations. But here's the thing, you all amaze me, all you tour operators out there, all you tourpreneurs, how resilient you all are, how optimistic you all are, how you're all keeping fighting. Now, I know the majority of tour operators that I speak to, and I probably speak to 2 or 3 every single day, because I do something really old-fashioned. I pick up the phone and I punch in the numbers. Or actually, yeah, I do punch in the numbers because I try and use my landline because here in rural Vermont, cell phone isn't great. And I call people and I have a chat. I try to do that as much as I can rather than just sending an email back. So I'm talking to tour operators every day and I'm always impressed by your optimism, your hope, and your resilience. And I was reading a Harvard Business Review article this week where it was saying, well, most startups fail when they either run out of cash or run out of morale. The juice is gone. And what I'm hearing right now from many tourpreneurs is your morale has taken a beating. It has taken a kicking. So much has been thrown at us. COVID pandemics, lockdowns, and now for some of us, rioting in our cities and rubber bullets being fired and buildings being torched. It's a really tough time, but I hear that resiliency, and that resiliency is there because you know why you're doing what you do. And I would say to any of you out there that are really struggling right now is ask yourself that. Why did you decide to become a tourpreneur? Why did you decide to offer tours, activities, and experiences? Now, I know that the answer here is not to make millions of dollars for most of you. The answer is you have a passion about your town, your city, your museums, your rivers, your mountains, whatever it may be, and you want to show it off. And more importantly, you want people to come to your part of the world and go home and be very excited, like you made their holiday. Because let's be honest, most of us don't stay in 5-star resorts. Most of us don't fly business. So what we do when we arrive at a destination, that's why I've always agreed with Arrival when they call it the best part of travel, because this is what we all talk about. So this is what we need to think about as we go through these dark times. Why are we doing what we're doing? And also, most tourpreneurs I speak to, you have worked the corporate life before, you're fed up of having a boss, you're fed up of being told what to do, and you're enjoying running your own business, no matter how tough it is. But then I also read on the Facebook groups this week, the law of attraction reared its head. What was The Secret? And I have issues with this because I'm a big consumer of self-help books. I will be honest with you. When I started reading self-help books years ago, my life did change. And that's not woo-woo talk, right? That generally I would read a book in the morning. When I decided, I was working at booking.com, right? I was a sales guy. I used to go out drinking with the boys. I would put the bare minimum in. I was a lazy sales guy. I'd hit my targets and no more. And then when I decided that, okay, I want to build a career, I want to do something, I have an opportunity here. And bearing in mind, this was kind of 2006. So booking wasn't the monster that they are today. And it was these books. Every morning I would read these books. I would apply what I've learned. And it's there's no surprise that I went on to open up the Scandinavian office for booking, the West Coast for booking, Canada for booking, and so on. That all happened when I started consuming books. But there comes to a point when you have to realize positive thinking will only get you so far. And someone wrote in one of the groups, what we focus on, we attract and receive. What do you want to attract? What do you want to attract? I'm sorry, I think that's delusional. I am not against positive thinking at all. I think it's critical and it's crucial. But you can't just sit there and think, okay, I'm going to focus on and think about having a thriving tour business again. Because if you're not studying how to market locally right now, chances are you're going to really struggle for the rest of the year. If you're not learning new skills, if you're not networking with other tour operators around the world, then it's going to be a real struggle. You can't just sit there. I've always said this. Positive thinking is great. Visualization got me through so many half marathons. And I was a fat guy. I lost 80 pounds by running. I put a fair bit of it back on during lockdown. But a lot of that was visualization. But I couldn't just sit there and visualize me, crashing through the finish line at the Stockholm Half Marathon. I had to go out and run 4 or 5 times a week. I had to be careful what I ate. I had to get my sleep. I had to hydrate. I couldn't just sit there and visualize that finish line. And that's what I'm saying today. I get the whole positive thinking thing, but don't fall into this trap. And also, to build a business today, to grow your businesses, to reboot your businesses, we need to understand that some of the doom and gloom headlines we have to learn from and apply. You can build a wall around yourself to protect yourself from negative news, but you've got to kick a few of those bricks out so some of it comes through so you know how to adapt. Because if you're not watching the news today and you're trying to run tours in an area that's been hit by rioting, just because you are using positive thinking, then you're not going to be successful. So I get really, really worried because I've seen so many people fall foul of this. I'm sorry, I think the secret is BS. Or half of it is BS. Positive thinking is great. Has to be followed up by hard work. It has to be followed by study, by learning, by interacting. And that's why, I see all these quotes being strewn about online, and they may make you feel good for the moment. But I'm sharing with you now, the best thing you can do is to interact with the community, whether it's the Tourpreneur Facebook, whether it's Arrival Connect, whether it's Tour Operators United, local tour operators, because that's how we'll succeed. Is by community and helping each other and seeing other people succeed. I am so motivated when I go on our group, the Tourpreneur Listeners Group, and I see some of you starting tours. And yeah, you've got masks on, it's socially distancing, but I am so motivated. I think, wow, it's starting. We're starting to come back. And yeah, we all have to be aware that there could be a second wave. We could all be back to square one. The better that we know that and we prepare for that rather than think everything's going to be rainbow and unicorns. So I want to thank all of you tourpreneurs that come on the show and the ones I speak to. I know we've been battered, but I love your resiliency. I'm so motivated by it. I take my hat off to each and every one of you that are fighting and continuing to fight. Also, this week I signed up for the National Council for the Training of Journalism course. So when I was in my teens, I actually wanted to be a journalist, and life just took different directions. Truth be told, I got working part-time in sales, was making good money, realized I had a talent for sales, and I went that route rather than what would have been harder work, which was going to university and getting my head down, cracking the books and studying. And NCTJ at that time, you couldn't get grants for it. You had to pay it yourself, and you could get grants at university in the UK then. So that dream went by, which was a shame because as a teenager, I wrote articles for a local newspaper. I did some freelance radio work. Life could have taken a different direction. So I decided that with the Tourpreneur project, I need to become a better writer. There's so many articles I want to write, interviews I want to conduct. And yes, I want to become a stronger interview on the podcast. And again, think about the secret, right? This, what we focus on, we attract and receive. If I sit here and imagine I'm going to be the next Woodward and Bernstein, ain't going to happen, right? I mean, my writing is okay. It's not the greatest. I have zero confidence because I haven't really needed to write other than sales emails, truth be told. So I got a lot of work to do. To be able to write articles and write them in a way that are engaging and they're helpful and are not too highbrow, right? Because I can't stand when I was reading an article this week about something and I had to give up halfway through because I had to get the dictionary out and I just couldn't understand the concepts of the article. That doesn't resonate with me. And I know it doesn't resonate with the most of you. And that's not saying we're all thick and stupid. We don't have time to sit and read a highbrow article. We want the facts. We want to get the learning out of an article. What can we do and what steps can we take as a result of it? So that's cool. NCTJ, I'm really excited about that. But what it does mean is I need a writer. So I put the call out. I'd love to hire a writer on a freelance basis. Again, using some of the money I'm given from the sponsorship of the show to be able to interview more of you. Because the challenge with podcasts that a website doesn't have or a news service is I can't put 2 or 3 shows out a day because your app will blow up. But I know there are certain things I want to write about. So how many times do we see on the group someone come along and say, hey, what's the best booking platform? Or how do I go about choosing a booking platform? Well, it's high time we started writing about these things and having it on the Tourpreneur site so you can access it when you need it. Also this week, the Tourpreneur approved directory should be ready. It's actually finished. I've actually done it myself. True entrepreneurial style. I've built something myself. It's a V1. I have just hired someone who's a forms expert to make it a little easier on the eye. And I'm ready to spend some money on this, but I need you tourpreneurs to be ready to recommend people that have helped you grow your business, right? Copywriters, SEO, bookkeepers, website designers, WordPress experts, email experts, whatever it is that's helped you with your business, insurance. I really need you to send in your recommendations so we could add that to the Tourpreneur approved directory so that when you need someone, let's say you need someone to do some branding for you, you can go on to the Tourpreneur approved directory, drop down branding, graphic design, and go, oh yeah, Tony Muir at Slicer Brooklyn recommends ABC design. I'll drop Tony an email and ask Tony, what they did for him, what the prices were like, what was communication like, etc., and potentially pick that company. So that's what I'm trying to achieve with the approved. And also, here's the thing. It's not a funnel. I hate funnels. I'm getting sick of funnels, right? Everyone just wants your email address. I don't want to do that. I want it hosted on the website. You hit the directory page, you get in there, you get what you need. You're not getting pummeled with sales emails or whatever else because there's too much of that going on right now. None of us have time for that. That's my gift to you, the tour industry, experience industry, as a thank you for what you do. And because my whole goal here at Tourpreneur is to help you save money. I want to help you grow your business, flatten the learning curve, but I want to save you money. I don't want to get emails anymore of, hey, I just spent 4 figures with this SEM company and basically I feel ripped off. They haven't done what they've said they would, or this designer has gone AWOL, or my website is not working very fast despite me paying for it, whatever it may be. I want to have that directory, but it will only succeed, will only be successful if you send in your recommendations. Coming up this week, we've got Rob Patingolo down there in DC. He's going to share with us what's happening in DC and what he's been doing during lockdown. We also go over to Robert at Via Nisa. He's one of the first people that I saw post on the Tourpreneur Facebook group about leading a tour, and he led a tour for locals because, of course, in France, I think it's changing this week. Up until now, anyway, you weren't allowed to travel more than 100 kilometers from home. So we talked to him about how he overcame that. We also have an interview coming up with Kyla Steves, who wrote a phenomenal local marketing document, 52-page ebook. Kyla works for Checkfront. That is chock full of good advice. So we'll be talking to Kyla as well. So thank you for tuning in today. Sorry it's a bit of a rant, but I just don't want you guys sitting there and doing all the positive thinking without the hard work, without the study, without the learning, without the networking in order to grow your business. Take care and stay well.
Thanks for listening to the Tourpreneur podcast. Be sure to visit tourpreneur.com to join the conversation and access the show notes, including links to the resources mentioned on today's episode. This is Tourpreneur.